Hey guys, so I wanted to do a very quick little comparison between the Sony Xperia Z5 Compact, which is the smaller member of the Z5 fraternity, and we do have as well the iPhone 6s, which is also quite small. I think someone said that the Z5 Compact is 4.6 inches, so to me it looks roughly about the same size as the iPhone, maybe a little bit smaller obviously in terms of the dimensions going at the top, but it certainly feels about the same in the hand. But the iPhone probably a little bit more thinner, you know, a little bit chunky with the Z5 Compact. We can just power them both down and then power them on to see how they you know, come on and turn off. So I think the iPhone is that little bit quicker maybe when it comes to powering off, but then again it did take a while for it to come back on, which is annoying, so I couldn't do it at the same time. But I think the iPhone is going to win anyway, to be honest. Maybe. So yes, I think definitely Sony could improve the boot speed of you know, the Z5 family. Nevertheless, and also, where is the actual music? You know, we used to have that nice Sony music, but I don't have it anymore on the Z5 Compact, which is a bit annoying. You can see everything is you know, at the top here. So nevertheless, you know, we can have a look at these two handsets here in terms of the you know, the day-to-day stuff. So first things first, you know, we can have a look at the app opening kind of performance. So, you know, your day-to-day apps here that you may open, obviously different type of platforms here, but interesting to see, you know, what sort of performance here. Straight away to me it seems the iPhone is that little bit ahead when it comes to loading some of these apps, and some of them are very demanding as well, such as this Uber kind of app, which is, you know, it took a long time then. Tango. So you see, very nice and fast on the iPhone. WhatsApp. Whoops. So let's just try that again. So WhatsApp, that was about similar really. About the inbuilt apps, Walkman, a little bit slower here, but I do enjoy the Sony Walkman a million times over the iPhone music, which is somewhat basic. We can have a look at the clock as well. iPhone again, and the weather, a little bit iPhone. I think that definitely you know, the speed is improved from when it was first released, the Z5, but they definitely could do a little bit more, I think, to keep up with the iPhone here. Is running very stock software. You know, there shouldn't be any thing slowing it down really. You can see as well for a game, and this just looks weird, this game. I'm sure it was not. I mean, why is it frozen? Maybe they've updated it. That's pretty cool, the way they update these games, and they look completely different. But you can see the iPhone again, you know, it's just that little bit ahead, I think, in terms of the performance. It would have been nice if Sony kept its own like browser as well. You notice that there isn't like a browser that you can use with the Sony, which is different from what you get. So we'll just clear this off and see how they compare, to open up some website kind of thing. So down here, not that I've really used it yet, hardly. So let's try Tech Radar. So that was very quick on the iPhone. So both of these, obviously, very basic displays, 720p. So not a lot of pixels to push here when it comes to the website rendering. And again, so we're getting the first images here of the 4-inch iPhone, new one, which is very interesting. So I definitely think there's a market for people who don't like phones over 4 inches. I heard that the 5S still sells very well in many places. But generally you can see here, it looks like the iPhone is loading that little bit faster generally when it comes to the web browsing, which is quite I was expecting like the same kind of speed that you'd get from the Z3 Compact, which is one of the fastest Androids on the market back in the day. But how do they compare when it comes to multitasking? So the Z5 Compact only has 2 gigs of RAM, obviously, to play with. Wow, so that was quite a big stutter there, I think I prefer the iPhone's animation when you are multitasking. It seems to be that little bit more natural. You notice how kind of brutal it comes up and down here on the Sony. So I don't think it responded then. Again, slight delay there. To me it seems that the Z5 Compact is quite slow actually, compared to like the bigger brothers of the Z fraternity, and that is not what I would expect. I'd expect this to be the fastest. But you can definitely see, the iPhone is very strict when it comes to the multitasking. It doesn't mess around. That was quite similar. But I think really, in my opinion, the iPhone seems to be that little bit faster day to day. But speed isn't everything here. We are, in 2016, and there are some advantages coming with the Sony, such as the fast charging. Definitely think that Apple is behind when it comes to fast charging technology. Also waterproofing, although the iPhone might be waterproof from some of the tests I have seen, so that might not be an issue. In terms of the build quality, some people have said that the white Z5 Compact looks cheap. Now, personally, I think that it looks very functional. Probably not quite as premium as some of the other colours, but I did want to change from the boring kind of colours I've been buying the Sony handsets in. So I got the Z5 Gold, the Z5 Premium in silver, and this one you could get in, I think, pink or green, and I just didn't fancy those. So to me it looks pretty nice, in terms of the construction, but as I said, it does feel a bit chunky, like they've kind of increased the dimensions of the feeling of the handset, but that does lend to like a little bit better grip, I think, when it comes to your day-to-day kind of usage. I think that the other thing is obviously micro SD expandability, which is very nice. You know, when you're crippled with 16 gigs internal storage, if you can only afford like the 16 gig iPhone, then you're going to appreciate that. I think we also get 32 gigs internal storage as well, which is very generous. You know, many manufacturers do skimp when it comes to that. So I think the cameras as well, I have tested the Z5 camera against the iPhones extensively, and I think that generally both have their pros and cons. You know, regardless of what DxOMark says, I think that there are better shooters on the market than both of them, but both of them won't let you down at the same time. I think where the strength of the Sony is in terms of the value adds that it brings to the table. Like this new kind of UI is pretty innovative generally, and when you go over here you do get quite a lot of different stuff you can set on. The iPhone 6s is very functional, but it does feel kind of boring in comparison, really. So you know, you do get your slow-mo, etc., but you know, Apple is like a massive company and you'd expect them to have some sort of pro mode on there by now, like many other kind of manufacturers. You can see you can download other kind of apps as well from the Sony store to liven up the camera experience. So that is pretty awesome. Also, I've been talking about the music kind of app here on the iPhone, which to me just feels very bland kind of thing. Doesn't, you know, it just doesn't excite me like the Sony. You can see with the Sony it's a lot more nicer in terms of the UI. You get your settings, obviously a lot of equalizer settings, all this good stuff. So if you're an audiophile, I think you would enjoy this kind of stuff, all the good stuff that you get from the bigger Xperia Z5 phones. So you know, you don't get any of that, I don't think, with the iPhone. So yeah, some definite pros and cons really to consider here. In terms of the screen, you know, display about the same really, not a huge difference. Both could do with bumping up to full HD in 2016. But yeah, you know, if you've got any questions, do let me know. Hope you enjoyed the comparison, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.